up, y'all? That behind me is serial number 10. Starship serial number 10. It went up, did a cool belly flop maneuver, landed like a fucking boss, and after about like 8 minutes it blew up, but you know, shit happens. So I want to explain something. I was out here actually, and this is what actually brought it to my mind. People were out here yesterday looking for like rocket parts, right? They're looking for blown up pieces of serial number 10 right here. And there was some lady with a metal detector. I ended up just chatting it up with her. She was some older lady. Elon came out here yesterday, and you know, she was out here with her metal detector, like not paying attention. I'm like, hey, Elon's over here. So, you know, she was like, oh, she started like, you know, giddy and stuff. And I don't know, I ended up just chilling with her for a while after that, just walking around with her where, you know, just bullshit and talking. She's from like Kansas or something. And so I walk around with her, she's using her metal detector, finding stuff, and you know, she's finding a lot of stuff. Like, I was like, damn, that's a good idea, bring a metal detector out here for that. And then at some point she comes like right, no, I think it was further down, but she came across something. I guess she was just tired or something because she had been walking around. She was an older woman, and she was like, "Hey guys," like I was hanging out with some other dude, and she was like, "Hey guys, there's something here if you want to come get it." And yeah, so I'm like, "Okay, like, let's go see what it is." And sure enough, I freaking go. It's like in a little shrub type thing. There's all these shrubs around here, and I kind of dig in there, and she was kind of telling me it's like it's thick, so it's kind of hard to get through. But like I reached down like up under that, and I pull out this big old like chunk. It's like this like massive like nut thing, and somebody told me it was like the valve to a one of those COPV tanks, which is carbon overwrap pressure vessel or something like that. But anyway, it was like this big old like shiny like bolt nut thing, and this girl, like as soon as I found it, well, as soon as I picked it up, I was like, damn, what the fuck is this, you know? And then all of a sudden, like after she was like, hey guys, come get this if you want, all of a sudden when she sees it, she's like, oh man, I found it. And I was like, whatever, like I just let her have it. But hold on, we got some people right next to me. I'm like trying to do something. I got dumb people. That's always on my videos, dude. Always. It's like it never fails, dude. Nah, but anyway, so I let her have it basically. I'm like, whatever, even though she did tell me, like, she told me, you know, come get it. Like, she was basically done, and she just said, there's something right here, and like, if y'all want to come get it, come get it. And sure enough, that was probably the biggest thing she found on that. You know, I was like, whatever, go ahead. But, look at these dumbasses over here. Crossing the street like fucking idiots. They don't know any better. They ain't been around. You can just tell. I could tell when they got out the car, their vibe, tourist vibes. Fucking that shit's annoying, dude. You just tell like they're ignorant of like everything going on and just like in their own little world, their own little lane. I think that's why people don't like American tourists, even though we're still in America. Anyway, old girl found we found she found it. I dug it up for her. But anyway, she was like I guess she felt bad because she really did say, hey, come get this, like, and as soon as I pulled it up, she changed her mind. But I guess she thinks those things are valuable, and I mean they might be later on. I don't know if you can sell it. Like I heard there was some conflict of interest with I don't know. I don't know what the law is regarding that, so I don't even have a clue. But I guess she thought personally that it was valuable. So she felt bad, and so she comes over to my car and literally hands me cash. Literally, she just handed me like a wad of cash. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like, what? Look, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we were bullshitting, talking and stuff like earlier that day, and I was telling her, yeah, I'm kind of low on funds. Like, I was gonna go over to this day labor place to get a job and stuff. So she knew I was low on funds, and she already offered me, like, she said she had this random food right here, that I could take if I wanted. I said, yeah, I'll take that. Sure, why not? My funds are low right now. I ain't gonna lie. So yeah, I accepted the cash, and But she felt bad. But the reason that she did that was because she felt like that thing was valuable. And so the reason she thinks it's valuable is not valuable personally to her. It's valuable because she thinks she can sell it to somebody else. And she was actually kind of talking about that. She was like, I might sell this, da da da. Like, and like I already know there is people, or there are people that there is people. No, there are people that are already like asking for parts like that. You know what I mean? Who are online and stuff. Like I said, I don't know what the law is regarding that, so I have no clue. But so she felt that that thing was valuable enough because she thinks she can sell it to another person. She felt it was so valuable just in her brain because she thinks she can sell it to another person that she came over here and handed me a wad of cash. Seriously, just straight up. She was like, "Here, I feel bad." Like, I'm like, "Okay." I really, at first I was like, "Are you sure?" Like, she was kind of an older woman, but she's like, "No, no, take it, I got to." Like, she felt bad, like it was like a karma thing or something. So I'm like, whatever, like, you know what I mean? But no, my point is, this is a good example here, though. She did not personally value that. She was not the type of person who's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna keep this in my collection and love it forever." She's not like that type of person. She's out here with her little metal detector, just trying to find parts because she thinks it's gonna be valuable. I don't think that's stupid necessarily, um, because there's already people asking for it. But the point is, she valued it because she thinks other people value it and will actually give her probably more money than she gave me. And so she was not even hesitant to come over here and hand me whatever little cash she had. I think it was actually like $60. Thank you. Thank you, lady. Thank you. I was helping her the whole night dig up stuff, so it's whatever. But and that piece was a nice chunk, man. I was like, damn, it was shiny. I was like, whoa, like that was actually the coolest piece I've seen out here. And yeah, but as soon as she saw it, as soon as I had like that reaction, I'm like, what the heck is this thing? And she was like, oh, like, let me see it. And she was talking about split, and I'm like, how you gonna split a big old chunk of like random metal? You know what I mean? It's whatever though. She did come up with the metal detector, but she definitely said, "Hey guys, like there's something here if y'all want to come get it." Um, but anyway, my point. This represents perfectly what they call a bubble, an investor bubble. It's the start of what will create an investor bubble. An investor bubble is basically people buying something, and so that's basically what she did. She kind of bought it from me, not exactly, but kind of. But she gave me money for that thing for what the half that she thought that I deserved or whatever. And really, I was just gonna let her have it. There's no way you can split that thing. It's a big chunk of metal. I don't whatever. I was just gonna let her keep it. But she basically bought my my claim to it or whatever, and because she thinks she can sell it to somebody else for more, and that is an investment principle called a bubble. It's the beginning of a bubble. Investors buy things like just that's pretty much how the stock market works. Investors buy things, stock market, other types of investing too, real estate, you name it, but they buy them so because they think they can sell it to somebody else for a higher price. And usually that takes time to appreciate. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes literally like a lot of business in the world is literally just buying from somebody for cheap and then bringing it to a different market and selling it for a higher price. Like America, like so much stuff like is bought from China at a low price, brought to America, sold for a high price. It's just that simple. And that's what a lot of business is. But with investing, there's like a perpetual hope that you can sell it to somebody for a higher price. You will buy something to sell to the next guy, and he'll buy it from you thinking he can sell it to the next guy. He'll buy it from that guy just thinking he can sell it to the next guy, and so on and so forth, until one of the guys is just a dummy who has nobody else to buy it off of him, even though he was hoping there was. And so it's a perpetual thing where the prices go higher and higher and higher, because people hope or expect to be able to sell it at a higher price to another person. And sometimes when that happens, it's like this, really like with the stock market, for instance, you can see a live, tracking of, increasing prices, right? And when people see that, they're like, oh man, this is like rapidly appreciating. Like I need to get my hands on that, why, because that's gonna rapidly appreciate and I can sell it higher. So they will actually come in and buy it. Usually like literally with the stock market, there's market orders and there's limit orders. With a market order, you'll buy at like the next highest offer from somebody, and they usually put it somewhere where they're gonna like take profits. They'll put a limit order or limit sell order out ahead of where the price is going. And if you put a market order in, it'll basically buy at the next highest limit sell offer basically, and that'll make the price go up. But also if it's going up fast, people will put limit order or limit buy orders out ahead of where the price is going, and then if it fills, that'll make the price go up. And it's so the people coming in as they see the price going up are going to make it go up even more, so on and so forth, even faster. And that's a rapidly inflating bubble right there. And I mean, that's just what it is. That's what it is with a lot of investing. And there's a whole world of that. Like literally, like it's half the time there might not even be a person at the end of all of that investing, that chain of, thinking you're gonna sell it to somebody else who thinks they're gonna be able to sell it to somebody else. It's just literally investors thinking they're gonna sell to the next investor. And there might not even be an end buyer. You know what I mean? So these people are selling to each other. It's like a Ponzi scheme almost. It's like, because there's no end buyer. It's just somebody at the end, at the top of that, each person taking their profit, and the price going higher and higher. Somebody's gonna be left holding the bag, and there's not gonna be somebody to buy it off of them. And this thing was just, I mean, it just brought it to my mind. It's something I've already understood. But yeah, those are bubbles. Those are bubbles, and you can see those all the time. They're literally like, the demand is, it's not consumer demand. There might be no consumer demand really. It's really investor demand, and the investors invest thinking they're going to sell to another investor at a higher price, but somebody is going to be the last guy, because people at some point are going to say, I'm not, that the price of that's too high, and that they'll not buy it because they don't think there's somebody else to sell it to at a higher price. So somebody's like the last in line, and at some point when people are going to be like, sorry, but I'm not buying that at that crazy price, because they don't think that they could sell it to somebody else, another investor, for a higher price. And that's what a bubble is. It's just literally valuations going up like crazy because investors are selling to each other, and it's like there could be no end consumer. What was that thing, like the tulip? I don't even know what that was. I don't probably can't use that as an example because I don't know the details of it. But I mean, you can just take what I said and maybe see it in various places. Stock market, I can see that. Cryptocurrency is one of those things I can see it in. That's like the principle of value investing, like with Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, or what's his name, Benjamin Graham, who wrote The Intelligent Investor, like way back. Warren Buffett's, kind of a mentor or whatever. It basically says the market will have these bubbles. He calls it Mr. Market in his book. I haven't read the whole book, but apparently, from what I understand, he calls it Mr. Market. And Mr. Market is irrational. Mr. Market is going up and down in value because these investors are selling to each other, and then all of a sudden nobody wants to buy, so the price goes back down, so on and so forth. So Mr. Market's irrational, and the intelligent investor will value a company based on sound principles. And when the market goes down, because the freaking market drops and nobody wants to buy a depreciating asset, when it goes down enough below what you think is actually worth, that's when you buy it. That's intelligent investing. That's basically the principle of value investing, from what I understand, explained in The Intelligent Investor. And so yeah, the market goes up and down and up and down, and these valuations are crazy, and it's so stupid. I think of it like almost like as a game of musical chairs, because people are like, getting into these positions, holding on, selling to another guy, and then who wants to just hold it for a little while and then give it to another guy. And it's like, these people they're not buying these things, because they want them. Like these people aren't buying stock in these companies because they love these companies. I mean, that's like, some companies have dividends, blah blah blah, but most of these people are buying to sell it again later at a high price. I mean, that's just what it is. Even the long term investors, some people say that buying just to sell at a high price, like in the short term, that would be a trader. But even the people who are like long term investors, I mean, you could collect dividends over time, so that's relevant. But eventually, they probably want to sell. You know what I mean? And so it's the same thing. Investors selling to investors, and it's really not people buying from investors. It depends. Like I said, like real estate. Real estate suffers from that because people literally will sell a house to like literally there's wholesaling in real estate, and somebody can buy a house really cheap and sell it without doing a thing to it to another investor. You know what I mean? Who's then gonna repair it? Who's gonna sell it to another person who might think they could sell it to another person for a higher price. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like it's passed on there, and profits are taken each, as each step along the way. You know what I mean? Like these people basically milk all the profit they can out of it, and then people that are trying to buy a house, people who actually need a place to live, they gotta freaking be at the end of that, profit taking along the way, and prices go crazy high because these investors are bidding up prices like crazy, buy from each other. They're like, oh yeah, I think I can definitely. There's a market for that. And really, the thing with house buyers is that they usually buy on credit. They will go to a bank and they can get approved for any big up like 20-year mortgage or whatever, and so they'll be able to get the money one way or another. Like they feel like, well, we need a house, I need a house, and they'll be working their asses off for the next 20 years to pay off a house. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's kind of fucked up. Because really it's like 20, like the prices are just so inflated because the investors are taking profit along the way. And that's really why so many people say real estate is, a good market to get in if you want to be rich, you know what I mean? Because they're taking profit every step of the way. And they're taking the money from the people who are actually working their asses off that need a place to live, and that's just with real estate. I mean, I don't know what else. Cars maybe can be something similar, I mean, with any like supply chain, there's stages, passed on, buy from this guy, sell to the next guy, and take profit every step along the way. But really, when it's especially one of those things where there's like so much speculation in between, you know what I mean? Then you have like so many of these steps in between, and when it gets to an end consumer, the price is just so crazy. It's like, damn, like can't even afford that. But if you can go to a bank and the bank can issue credit, fractional reserve bank, and create money on the spot, then yeah, they can. You can afford it then if the bank's willing to, make that loan for you. And so yeah, there's a lot of that going on in the economy. I mean, that's something I feel like people need to be aware of. It's there. I wish the economy could just work with just like the laborers trading labor with each other without like all these middlemen like creating these bubbles. That's what it is, bubbles. And then the end consumer, has to bridge the gap between like what it should be without all that speculation, and then they got to be like on top of that bubble, pay the price on top of that bubble. And the money creation has a lot to do with it. The money creation, credit creation, it comes into the market. A lot of times, investors will actually buy something on credit, thinking they can sell it to another person. You know what I mean? And that wouldn't be possible if banks weren't out here just literally creating money and handing it to people. So that has a lot to do with these bubbles inflating. It's the end consumer that really, if there is even an end consumer, that really has to pay the price. Otherwise, it's some idiot that invests in something. It could be on credit as well, and there's nobody to buy from him. He's a dumb investor thinking somebody else was gonna buy at a high price, and he's left holding the bag. And so he might, if it's on credit, he's going in debt. The bank was stupid for even loaning him that money. There's stuff like that I've seen. I've seen like development with real estate, and I'm like, there's nobody that's gonna buy that. And I know those people financed the real estate development on credit. You know what I mean? I've seen it. I've seen it back in Houston. I've seen it, and they cut down like some of my favorite forests. I'm like, you fucking morons. Nobody's gonna buy this because Houston flooded. It was in a fucking floodplain. I'm like, you fucking idiots. Cut down like my favorite fucking forest. One of them right by where I live to fucking build a fucking bunch of warehouses that nobody's gonna fucking buy or rent out because it's in a fucking floodplain. I was like, you fucking morons. And they did that shit on credit. And now they're probably just gonna be in debt. And the only reason that was possible is because the bank issues credit, because banks literally create money on the spot. They cut down my forest with money that the bank created on the spot. You know what I mean? That wouldn't have been possible otherwise. That pissed me off. It's fucking stupid. And there's so much shit like that. There's so many failed fucking investments that are paid for with fucking money that the bank created. It's literally the bank creates money, hands it to somebody, and then those people literally go and buy labor, resource, whatever, to do some stupid ass project that might fucking fail. And you're just like, and then they'll fuck shit up. They'll literally fucking cut down a forest or something. That is quite a shame. This is a, hold on. I let this guy do his thing. I don't know if it works here or what, but yeah, you know, just seeing that, like, banks create money, hand it to whoever. They can hand them much. They could create pretty much as much money as they want. You know, a lot of these banks, they have enough. You have to have, like, I don't know, there's a reserve minimum with fractional reserve banking, and they have enough, they can loan out like 100 million, you know what I mean? Something like that. And those people will take that money, buy resource, and put labor towards some fucking stupid project that's gonna fail, maybe. You know, some of these projects, that's what I'm talking about, the ones that are gonna fail. And, you know, at the end of the day, they can't fucking pay back the bank because nobody's gonna fucking, you know, buy whatever the fuck they built or whatever. And so they just fucking bought all that resource to do some stupid fucking thing, tear down a forest or something, can't pay back the bank. The bank now has to fucking foreclose on that property or whatever and has to auction it off for like a loss, blah, blah, blah. And it's fucking stupid. It's like, if the bank didn't fucking give people money to do shit like that, they wouldn't do dumb shit like that. But the bank makes money so fucking available because of fractional reserve banking. It's fucking stupid. That shit should be banned outright, you know what I mean? And I'm really pissed about that forest back in Houston, man. That was like my favorite like go-to spot. I mean, it's kind of right. I don't want to even say that, but no, it was definitely like, what the fuck, man? Like, and nobody's buying these fucking warehouses. They developed them in a fucking floodplain. Nobody's gonna buy a fucking warehouse in a floodplain, you fucking idiots. But they somehow got fucking. I know that shit costs a lot of money. It was like these big ass fucking warehouses. And they've been sitting there for like a couple years now. And fucking idiots, bro. So that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Banks creating money and handing it to people so they can hire labor. Like, this is actually a good endeavor. I don't think even Elon went into debt for this. I think he raised money in a nice, you know, traditional, you know, fashion. I think you know, I think Google bought like 10% of SpaceX, stuff like that. So this is different, and they're actually doing something awesome. They're building to go to Mars. Sorry, my hand's shaking. My hand's getting tired. Like holding this phone for real. I'm like trying to like readjust. But anyway, shake it out, shake it out. Anyway, here we are. That's just all in the way, man. I'm trying to see some Starship action back there, bruh. Nah, but anyway, you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit going on in the economy, and it's a lot of it's fucking dumb, to be honest. A lot of it's based on stupid economic shit, like fucking fractional reserve banking is fucking bullshit, first of all. But there's bubbles that are inflated through fractional reserve banking, through banks just literally creating money and handing it to people. People will literally borrow from a bank to invest in something that they think they can sell to somebody else later at a higher price. That's literally what that development thing was that I'm talking about. And it's just been fucking sitting there. And they fucking destroyed the whole forest, fucking thinking someone's gonna fucking buy that dumb shit. And nobody's fucking bought it. It's a stupid development. I hear like in China, there's like entire cities that are like literally, they developed, and that's a waste of human labor. You fucking literally, not only is it a waste of human labor, you destroyed natural habitat. It's just fucking stupid. It's totally stupid fucking economically. It's inefficient economically. industrially. I don't know what you want to call it. It's just inefficient fucking usage of manpower, resource, and the only reason that happens is because banks are literally creating money and handing it to fucking people so they can buy that fucking resource, so they can fucking direct that resource toward their stupid fucking projects or whatever. Like I said, this is good. This is actually well, the whole economy is kind of tainted by that money that comes in. So I can't say it's like without that, but generally, I think SpaceX is funded by investors buying equity in the company, at different valuations. And I think recently he just got like fucking 80 billion or something like that. So he's getting money by selling equity in the company. And those people think that this company has promise with its growth. Like that money's gonna be a good investment, and that money's coming directly from somebody that actually has that money, as opposed to a bank just creating it. But like I said, the whole economy is tainted by the money because the bank is constantly bringing in money, selling it, and people are, you know, the bank's constantly creating money, handing it to people. Those people are constantly introducing it into the economy, and so the whole literal money supply is borrowed at this point in the United States, the U.S. dollar. So you can't really say that any of that money is, you know, I guess clean of that fractional reserve banking bullshit. But at least it's not directly from the bank. It's somebody that sold something, whatever. Even if they sold it to an idiot investor that borrowed money, and borrowed that money. And yeah, there's a lot of those idiot investors, dude. Straight up. And there's a lot of idiot banks that'll freaking hand them freaking crazy amounts of money. And I guess I don't know how they convince these banks, but they're like, hey man, I'm gonna do something awesome, and they fucking go do some dumb shit and totally fails, and these banks are fucking now, you know, now they gotta fucking, I don't know, whatever collateral people put up for these loans, they gotta fucking seize that and auction it off to try to get that money back, whatever. It's just perpetual. That's what banking is. It's perpetual debt. That's what the entire monetary system is. It's perpetual debt issued by the banks, dude. And that's what the whole monetary system is, literally. And it's like, what the fuck is that even? Like, that's dumb as hell to me. Especially because they cut down my fucking forest. Anyway, I don't know. That's just a weird principle I was just thinking of, so I figured I'd talk about it while I'm chilling. These motherfuckers got up and away, bro. I have my Starship action in the background, looking all cool and shit. Whatever. I don't know, just some random economic principles. I don't know. This might not be the best video, but whatever, we'll get over it. Fucking, I thought it was cool scenery. I've been chilling here, watching all this stuff, and that lady, like I said yesterday, she handed me money because she thought that thing was so valuable she could sell it to another person. Maybe she can't. Maybe she thinks she can, but she can't. You know what I mean? That's what a lot of people think, and that causes these inflated bubbles, and there's just these crazy valuations all over in the economy. And like I said, sometimes investors will borrow from a bank to invest in something, even develop something, build something, thinking they can sell it to another investor. They think they can sell it to somebody. Some people don't know how to discern between investor demand, being the person you think you can sell to, versus a consumer. That's a very, very important distinction right there. Consumers, if they constantly need something, then they'll fucking, if there's consumer demand enough for the supply, then all of the supply will be bought. If there's just investors, I guess there's usually a mix. There's usually a mix of consumer and then investor demand on top. It's like the investors are buying because they're trying to eventually sell to the consumer demand. If there's not enough consumer demand, but there's more of a supply, and these investors are just like selling to each other, they're not gonna be able to sell it. Some people are gonna not be able to sell it. That's why I call it like a thing of musical chairs almost. It's like, oh, actually, that kind of just came to my mind. It fits with that idea, but consumer demand, there has to be enough. There has to be enough end buyers to actually have enough end consumers so that all of these investors can, get out of their positions. You know what I mean? And if there's not, then the investors are just selling to another investor, and some of these investors are gonna be left holding the bag. Game of musical chairs. That's what I'm saying, dude. And so yeah, it's a really relevant concept. It's very relevant. Investor demand and consumer demand are two totally different things. And the fucking investor demand is what fucking inflates these bubbles, especially with fucking borrowed money. And they create these, chasms between what shit should actually be priced at versus what the fuck consumers actually have to buy shit at. And it depends what we're talking about. Like real estate's one example. I guess if you're like in a stock market or something, all there really is investor demand. But yeah, the money creation coming in is definitely making those prices go up because the consumer even will go to a bank and borrow money and pay the fucking crazy inflated price. The money creation is what inflates this shit, bro. Straight the fuck up. Fractional reserve banking, that shit should be illegal as fuck, bro. Because it fucks up everything in the economy. Crazy valuations. These investors are just like, oh yeah, like they're getting rich by selling, really maybe buying some at a really low value, and then like I said, the fucking bubble inflates and they can sell to some dumbass who again probably is using borrowed money to fucking buy it, and they're taking that money themselves, debt free. And the person that borrowed the money, who might be trying to buy a house or whatever, they're the ones who are having to pay back the bank. And if they can't, then the bank's fucked. And the bank, a lot of times it seems like they're always fucking make some crazy loans, dude. And they seems like they don't care sometimes. It's like, fuck it, we'll go bankrupt. Like we'll just fucking put out a shit ton of loans and go bankrupt and settle that somehow. Like, seems careless. Seems like kamikaze type shit. And they probably enrich themselves. They're like, here, we're gonna open a bank. I'm gonna loan to my best bud, and and then he's gonna buy something from my other best bud, and then he has that money debt free. He'll split it between us, and he'll be in debt, but and then the bank will foreclose. Or, I don't know, the bank will go into bankruptcy, whatever. The bank will freaking default. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I haven't owned a bank, and I'm not constantly trying to create some weird Ponzi scheme thing or anything like that. So I don't know. I don't know if there's some legal loopholes people can do like that, or if that's what they've been doing. I have no idea. Y'all can look into that, investigate. But yeah, definitely money creation inflates these bubbles, crazy valuations, and even the end consumer can borrow money to buy something like a home if they have to. And so you got these crazy valuations everywhere. It's fucking insane. It's like it's not worth what people think it is. It's just that people can borrow money and a lot of times pay these crazy valuations. And the investors are thinking they can sell to somebody else, and so they keep selling to each other and inflating these bubbles like crazy. And there's people that take home money debt free in the middle. So the people that are actually good at it, they take money, they take a cut of profit in between the fucking valuation going up. And those are the people that, a lot of people do that. A lot of people are rich because of that. And I think it's a crock of shit. So it is what it is. It's a crock of shit, but I see how it works, and I'm like, well, that if I see it, I mean, I'm not gonna saying I'm not gonna take advantage of it. That's how it works. That's how it works. The game set up the way it is. Like, what do you want me to do? Not play it and lose? You know what I mean? Like, fuck that. So yeah, it is what it is. What are they doing back here? What just happened? Where's Starship? Where's serial number 10, man? Where's my boy? Where's my boy? Yeah, anyway, that's just something people need to see. This has been a longer video than I expected, but so I'm just chilling. I was thinking about that because that lady yesterday. Yeah, definitely bubbles inflating. Money creation fucking allows that, really. And high crazy valuations, and there's a lot of people in between taking home money debt free, who actually might buy some at a low valuation. You can actually buy some with debt at a low valuation, sell it at a way higher value, and then fucking pay back the loan and take money home. So it is what it is. You just gotta see how that works. Well, really, I mean, I think it shouldn't exist. That's what I'm trying to say. I feel like that whole thing should be remedied. It should be blown out of existence. Fractional reserve banking should be illegal. Only people that have money should be able to loan it out. Fuck that shit. Like the people who buy equity in SpaceX, for instance, debt free with their own money, that's literally like a loan to the company. Kind of. It's really you're buying equity, but it's similar. Like, it's their own fucking money. They can fucking spend it how they want. You know what I mean? You can loan it to somebody and charge them interest if you actually have the money yourself. These banks are literally just creating money, creating credit on the spot. Fractional reserve banking is basically saying you have to only have maybe 10% of what you're loaning out in reserves. You know what I'm saying? It's totally fraud. And then you create 10 times more than what you actually have in reserve, and that can go to another bank, and they can use that as reserve to create 10 times more, and so on and so forth. The money supply just inflates like crazy. It's freaking insane. It's stupid. It's totally fucked up money. It's totally not sound money. It's trash. And that's why you have crazy valuations everywhere. I'm telling you. And it's fucking. That's why the cost of living is so fucking high for so many people who are just trying to make an honest living working and shit. You know, while all these other motherfuckers who know how to game the system are taking cuts of that profit. You know, in between. And you know, and a lot of people are. It's fucked up. You know, it's fucked up. A lot of people are just trying to make an honest living. And literally, a person can go to a bank, get $100 million loan, and buy, 1,000 people's labor for 10 years. Okay, I don't know, that might be an overvaluation, but they can literally like buy that much resource from the market. They can just go to a bank. The bank will just literally hand them money, and because you're just trying to make an honest living, you're basically a slave to them. You're like, you'll do whatever they say. You work for them. You're employed by them. And all they did was go to a bank and get a big ass loan. And they're giving you little fucking bits of it. You know what I mean? And you're a fucking slave. That's some fucked up shit. That's the economy. That's how it works. With money creation, fractional reserve banking. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. And that's what happens. These banks literally are creating money and handing it to people. And then these people can, they're supposed to do something profitable to where they can pay back the loan, but a lot of times they fucking don't. And so you're working for them. You're a slave. All they did was go to a bank and got that fucking money. That was a random streaker. No, I was playing. No, they went to the bank and got that money. And then sometimes they do stupid shit, but if you're employed by them, yeah, you're working your ass off while they just went to a bank and got money. And they're supposed to manage the project. It's supposed to be profitable. And if it's not profitable, and then and they go into debt, then they have to pay that debt. Then they're liable for it, and then they might have to work one way or another to get that money back. But a lot of these people figure out ways without even doing really any real labor, maybe, to get that money back. Like I said, with debt free. And in the meanwhile, what they're all buying and what people with money are buying is the labor of real workers. You know what I mean? And that's a fucked up economy. It's like kind of like it's just the people who understand and know how to like game this system and get their hands on plenty of fucking money one way or another. By borrowing it or debt free, they then when they have massive amounts of money, then they can buy your labor, and you're basically like a slave. Don't want to just call it a slave. I mean, some people say, oh yeah, it's free market, it's capitalism, but you have to see the way it's set up with money creation and everything. That's what I'm trying to explain. And it's pretty fucked up. All these people working their asses off for the people that one way or another game their way into a shit ton of fucking money. And I mean, that's just that's the exploit. It's there, dude. It's been there. It is what it is, man. But it needs to change. That's what I feel like. That's what I'm talking about it. And there's bubbles. There's money creation, which inflates those bubbles, and all types of fuckery going on. So that's what I just explained. So I hope you understand. I'm gonna leave it at that. I've been talking too long, and I'll talk to you later. I'm out. Peace.